Let me tell you something you already know, but maybe you've been too scared to admit. If your life isn't where you want it to be, it's not because of your boss, your past, your family, your genetics, or the government. It's because something needs to change, and that something is you. Now I know that might sting. I'm not here to sugarcoat reality. I'm here to jolt you awake. You have dreams, goals, desires. But how long will you keep them locked in the prison of someday? How many more years will pass before you decide, once and for all, that the pain of staying the same is far greater than the pain of making a change? Let me be absolutely clear with you right now. Nothing in your life gets better unless you get better. Nothing changes until you change. You want a better relationship, be a better partner. You want more money, develop more value. You want to feel more alive, start showing up to your own life. Change is not a one-time event. It's not a motivational video or a quote you share on Instagram. Change is a decision, one that you make again and again, until it becomes your identity. Look, everyone wants transformation, but no one wants to go through the fire. Everyone wants the body, the confidence, the money, the peace, but they don't want to sacrifice the comfort of who they've always been. You say, I'm waiting for the right time. There is no right time. There is only now. You are not promised tomorrow. You have one shot at this life. You don't get to wait until it feels right. You act and make it right. And let's kill another lie while we're at it. Change doesn't come from information. You already know what to do. You don't need another book. You don't need another seminar. You need a decision. One strong, powerful decision that says, I'm done playing small. I'm done being a victim. I'm done lying to myself. I'm ready to become the person I was born to be. Listen to me. If you don't change, your life will. One way or another, it's going to shift, but you can either be the architect or the demolition crew. Change will happen. It's just a matter of whether it's intentional or accidental, controlled or chaotic, empowered or destructive. You can either evolve or you can repeat. And the most dangerous place to live is not rock bottom. No, it's in comfort, that gray zone where life isn't bad enough to force you to move, but not good enough to inspire you to thrive. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Growth does not live in the familiar. If your life feels stuck, it's not because you're broken. It's because you've been living in a cage made of excuses, and you're holding the key. Yes, it will be hard. Change will demand every ounce of your focus, your discipline, your courage. It will mean letting go of people who don't grow with you. It will mean facing fears you've buried for years. It will mean waking up earlier, working harder, and thinking deeper. But hear this, it will be worth it. Because what's harder, challenging yourself today or living with regret tomorrow, facing discomfort now or wasting another decade asleep with your eyes open? You see, people ask, what if I fail? But what if you don't? What if you succeed beyond anything you've ever imagined? What if the real fear isn't failure? What if it's wasting your potential? Deep inside you, there's a version of you that you haven't met yet, stronger, smarter, bolder, wiser. That version of you is begging to be unleashed. But he or she can't live in the same patterns, the same beliefs, the same environment that's been keeping you small. You have to rise. You have to push. You have to choose, because freedom doesn't come from chance. It comes from change. Let me tell you a truth that changed my life. The quality of your life is directly proportional to your ability to tolerate discomfort. Every breakthrough is born in the fire. Every next level of your life demands a next level of you. So stop saying one day. Stop waiting for a sign. This is your sign. This is your moment. This is your wake-up call. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you who you are. And if you want to create a new reality, you need to start acting like the person who already lives there. You need to think like them, speak like them, show up like them, until you become them. That's the secret. You don't wait to feel ready. You decide to be ready. You don't wait for confidence. You build it through action. You have to change because your future is begging for it. Your potential is crying out for it. The world is desperate for people who are alive, awake, and on fire with purpose. Be that person. Be the exception. Be the one who said, enough is enough. I'm done waiting. This is your time. This is your call. You have to change. Nothing changes until you do. That truth is simple, but it's everything. People go through life hoping things will get better, hoping circumstances will shift, that someone will rescue them, that luck will finally show up at their door. But the real power, the real transformation, the real breakthrough, it never starts outside. It starts within. The moment you decide to change, everything else begins to move, not before. You want your income to grow, your relationships to deepen, your health to improve, your peace to return. Then you must look in the mirror and realize that the only common factor in every area of your life is you. If you don't change, your patterns won't. If you don't shift, your future won't. If you don't evolve, your circumstances will recycle. You can read all the books. You can listen to all the podcasts. You can gather all the knowledge in the world. But until you decide to apply it, until you decide to shift your standards, until you start taking new actions from a new mindset, nothing's going to stick. People love the idea of improvement, but they often fear the price of change. Because change costs comfort, it costs familiarity, it costs the old version of you. But if you want to experience something different, you must become someone different. You don't get to hold onto your old excuses and expect a new life. You don't get to keep your same fears and expect a new level of confidence. The work must be done on the inside first, and then the outside begins to rearrange. Look at the world around you. It's constantly moving, evolving, shifting. Seasons change, economies change, technologies change. Everything is in motion, and the human soul is no different. When we resist change, we suffer. When we embrace it, we grow. But the most dangerous place to be is when you convince yourself that you're fine while everything inside you is screaming for more. That quiet desperation is what eats away at potential. The dream doesn't die overnight. It dies slowly every time you say maybe tomorrow or I'll start next week. Nothing changes with delay. Progress demands urgency. You don't wait for motivation to show up. You move and the momentum brings the fire. There comes a point when you have to stop blaming, stop delaying, stop pretending. There comes a point where you say, this is on me. And that's not weakness, that's power. Because when it's your responsibility, it means you have the ability to change it. You're not a tree, you're not stuck. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are the one who decides where the story goes next. But you have to decide, not wish, not hope, decide. Because a decision backed by action is what separates dreamers from doers. The people who change their lives aren't lucky. They're committed. They stopped negotiating with their future. They stopped flirting with change and married it. They realized that waiting was the most dangerous habit of all. Your environment may be loud. The world may be noisy. But if you get quiet enough, there's a whisper inside that already knows the truth. That whisper tells you when it's time to rise. It tells you when you're settling. It tells you when you're capable of more. That voice is always there, but it gets drowned out by distractions, fear, and doubt. You have to lean into that voice. You have to trust it. You have to realize that the life you want isn't going to magically appear one day. It's built one decision, one shift, one brave act at a time. Nothing changes until you do. And that change doesn't start in some perfect moment. It starts right where you are, with exactly what you have. The courage to face yourself, to own your life, to do what needs to be done, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching, even when you feel like quitting. That's where the real transformation begins. Comfort is the enemy of growth. It disguises itself as peace, but it's actually a trap. It convinces you that where you are is good enough, that you don't need to push, don't need to stretch, don't need to become more. It whispers lies like you deserve to rest. You've done enough. What if you fail? But behind that soft voice is the silent erosion of potential. Comfort zones may feel safe, but they are cages, and the longer you stay inside them, the smaller your world becomes. Growth doesn't happen in ease. It doesn't happen when everything is predictable. It happens when you're challenged, tested, stretched past your limits. It happens when you lean into the unknown instead of hiding from it. Every person who ever achieved greatness had to walk through discomfort. Every new level in your life will demand a new version of you, and that version can't be born in the same environment that raised the old one. You don't become better by doing what's easy. You become better by doing what's necessary. The gym isn't comfortable. Waking up early isn't comfortable. Telling the truth isn't comfortable. Taking responsibility, facing fears, risking failure. None of it is comfortable, but all of it is where growth lives. You don't rise by staying where it's warm and familiar. You rise by entering the fire again and again until you are forged into someone unrecognizable from who you used to be. People often say they want to change, but they really mean they want a better life without having to change. They want the rewards of growth without paying the price, but it doesn't work that way. The struggle is not a punishment, it's preparation. The discomfort is not a barrier, it's the path. If you're not willing to be uncomfortable, you're not willing to grow. And if you're not growing, you're shrinking, because in life there is no neutral. There's no standing still. You're either moving forward or sliding backward. Becoming more or becoming less comfort is seductive. It will lull you into mediocrity with soft distractions and temporary pleasures. It will keep you busy with small things so you never confront the big ones. It will tell you to relax today and change tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. One day turns into 1 year, and before you know it, you're wondering where the time went, where your dreams went, where your fire went. It all got lost in comfort. It got buried under routines, excuses, fears you didn't challenge, chances you didn't take. The cost of comfort isn't paid all at once. It's paid in tiny, invisible withdrawals. Your confidence, your ambition, your potential, piece by piece true growth begins when you stop asking, "What's the easiest way?" and start asking, "What's the way that will grow me?" When you stop looking for shortcuts and start building character. When you stop fearing hard things and start embracing them as the gym for your soul. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your teacher. Every great breakthrough begins on the other side of something uncomfortable. Every skill you admire, every success you crave, every leader you respect, they were all born in discomfort. They failed, they hurt, they stretched, but they kept going, and that's why they rose. If you want to rise too, you must train yourself to do the hard things first. Get used to resistance, run toward the challenge, not away from it. Change your relationship with discomfort, and it will change your relationship with life. Growth asks one thing of you: to get uncomfortable on purpose. To chase the tension, to seek the struggle, to be willing to fail in the process of becoming unstoppable. The truth is, comfort may feel good, but it doesn't make you good. Only the pain of discipline produces the power of transformation. Only through discomfort can you find out who you really are. You can either evolve or repeat. That choice is in front of you every single day. It shows up in your decisions, your habits, your thoughts, and the way you respond to life. You are either becoming someone new or staying stuck in who you've always been. The past will always try to pull you back into its comfort. It will remind you of the familiar, of your routines, of your failures, and of the identity you've worn for so long that you've started to believe it's permanent. But none of it has power unless you give it permission. Evolution is uncomfortable because it requires you to challenge everything you've accepted as normal. It asks you to question your limits, your patterns, and your excuses. It demands honesty, responsibility, and action. Repeating is easy. You don't have to think. You don't have to try. You just wake up, react to the same triggers, follow the same routines, complain about the same problems, and wonder why nothing's changing. The loop continues. Your days blur into weeks, your energy fades, your dreams begin to gather dust, and slowly You begin to forget who you were before the world told you to settle. Evolution is hard because it means letting go. It means releasing the version of you that was built in survival mode. It means shedding the beliefs that were handed to you but no longer serve you. It means stepping into the unknown with no guarantee except the promise that staying the same is a far greater risk every time you face a moment of choice. Whether to procrastinate or to push forward, whether to numb out or to show up, whether to avoid or to confront. You are choosing to evolve or to repeat, and those small, quiet choices compound over time. They shape your future in ways you can't yet see. The life you want is not built in some dramatic overnight transformation. It's built in the daily decisions to evolve just a little bit more than yesterday. To do one thing different, to think one new thought, to take one courageous action. You don't have to change everything all at once. You just have to refuse to repeat what's been holding you back. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be committed. Growth is not a straight line. It's messy, frustrating, and unpredictable, but so is staying stuck. So is repeating pain, repeating regret, repeating disappointment. There's nothing easy about playing small, except that you've gotten used to it. But familiarity does not equal freedom. What's comfortable is not always what's right. The most painful place to live is in the cycle of almost changing. You read the book, but don't apply it. You get inspired, but don't act. You make a plan, but don't follow through. You know what to do, but don't do it. That space between knowing and becoming is where dreams die, and the only way out is through choice, through action. Through the decision that you're done hitting repeat on a life that doesn't fulfill you. You can evolve through purpose or through pain. But either way, life will push you. It will show you the same lessons over and over until you learn them. Until you rise, until you decide to do something different. And the truth is, you already know what you need to do. The answers are within you. The question is, will you finally listen? Will you finally stop tolerating cycles that drain your soul? Will you finally stop calling it fate when it's really just a pattern? Evolution doesn't require perfection. It only requires that you refuse to live another day in a story that no longer aligns with who you are becoming. Your future is created by what you do now, not later. Every single second is shaping what's coming. Every choice you make, every action you take, every thought you allow to dominate your mind, it all stacks up and becomes your future reality. The mistake most people make is thinking the future is something distant, something far ahead that will just happen someday. But someday is built today. The version of you 5 years from now isn't being formed in the future. It's being built right here, in this very moment, by your habits, your standards, and your decisions. The greatest lie is that you have time to waste. That you can start later, fix it later, dream later, try later, but later isn't guaranteed. All you have is now. You don't get to wish for a future you're not willing to fight for today. You don't get to hope for change while staying loyal to your current behavior. The future isn't waiting around for you to get ready. It's being carved by your commitment or your comfort, by your clarity or your confusion, by your action or your hesitation. Whatever you're doing consistently is either building the life you want or burying it. The reason most people stay stuck is because they keep postponing their potential. They wait for the right mood, the right motivation, the right moment. But the right moment never arrives wrapped in perfection. It shows up as a window of opportunity disguised in discomfort. It shows up when you're tired, when you're unsure, when you're scared, but still willing to act. That's when the seeds of the future are planted. Not when it's easy, but when it's real. Not when you feel like it, but when you do it anyway. People who build powerful futures are not lucky. They are disciplined. They know that what they do today matters more than what they say they'll do tomorrow. They understand that 1 hour of focus today is worth more than a month of planning without action. They train their minds to act now, to move now, to be relentless in the present because they understand it's the only place true power exists. If you want a better future, upgrade your now. Upgrade how you speak to yourself. Upgrade how you treat your time. Upgrade how you show up when no one's watching. These small upgrades create massive shifts. Over time. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your systems, and your systems are built by your daily choices. That's where the future is hiding. In your routines, in your mindset, in your reactions, in the way you spend the quiet hours when no one's looking. You can't fake your way to a powerful future. You have to build it brick by brick. Each moment is either a brick of discipline or a brick of delay. Each one stacks, each one counts. Every skipped opportunity, every avoided challenge, every excuse accepted is a weight pulling your future down. Every act of courage, every minute of focus, every push beyond comfort is a spark pulling your future forward. You won't always see the progress. You won't always feel the results right away. But just like a seed planted in soil, your future needs time, consistency, and care. And just like a seed, neglecting it today doesn't just pause the process, it kills it. Your future will not wait for you to be ready. It will not pause because you're afraid. It will keep being built, with or without your participation. The only question is whether you'll be the author of it or the victim of it. Whether you'll shape it or survive it. Whether you'll lead it or be led by it. Change is a decision, not a feeling. Waiting to feel ready is the fastest way to stay stuck. Emotions are unpredictable, unreliable, and often tied to comfort, not progress. If you wait until you're motivated, until you're confident, until fear disappears, you'll never start. The people who create powerful change in their lives are the ones who decide to act despite the fear, despite the doubt, despite the discomfort. They understand that change isn't a mood, it's a commitment. It's a moment when you draw a line in the sand and say enough. It's not about feeling like changing. It's about choosing to change again and again until the choice becomes who you are. The mind will always look for ways to avoid discomfort. It will try to convince you that you need more time, more knowledge, more preparation. But all of that is just delay dressed as logic. Change begins when you stop negotiating with your limitations and start confronting them. When you stop asking for permission to evolve and start doing the work. The shift doesn't come from inspiration alone. It comes from the internal decision to rise, to break cycles, to become the person your future needs you to be. You don't accidentally become better. You don't stumble into growth. You decide, and that decision is made daily, in the moments where quitting feels easier than continuing, where excuses feel louder than purpose. That's where change is born, in the friction, in the struggle, in the resistance. You won't always feel like doing what needs to be done. That's normal, but your feelings don't get to be the driver. Your vision does, your why does. Your decision to change must be stronger than your desire to stay the same. Most people think change is a switch that flips when everything lines up perfectly. But the truth is, change is more like a battle between the current you and the future you. One is fighting for comfort, the other is fighting for growth. And every time you choose to stay the same, you feed the version of you that wants to stay small. Every time you choose to step forward, even if it's messy or imperfect, you feed the version of you that's ready to rise. The power isn't in the feeling, it's in the choosing discipline over distraction, choosing courage over comfort, choosing progress over perfection. The decision to change is the seed, what you water it with is action. And it doesn't matter if the action is small, what matters is that it's consistent, because the most powerful changes are not made in big, dramatic moments. They're made in the quiet choices no one sees. Waking up early, saying no to what drains you, saying yes to what stretches you, speaking the truth, letting go of what no longer fits. That's the work. That's what builds the foundation of a new life. You don't need to feel ready. You need to be willing to start before you have it all figured out, willing to take the first step when the full path isn't clear, willing to take the hit, to get back up, to keep showing up. That kind of decision, steady, strong, and non-negotiable, is the difference between those who talk about change and those who live it. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to be faithful to your decision. You don't have to know everything. You just have to trust that momentum favors movement. Clarity comes from action. Confidence comes from repetition. Transformation comes from the moment you stop waiting and finally decide that who you are now is not where the story ends.